ladies, gentlemen, those beyond the binary. Welcome to this casual channel. My name is Ruth Seneca. This is the RM Seneca channel where we collect and share stories. We're going to talk about the books of July. July, more like Julying, about all these books that I read that had demonic themes. Oh my god. Okay. So, I read 5 books this month. Before we get into the books that I read, I would like to kind of define where my taste lies so you can understand like what type of books I'm looking for and where these might have not hit the mark. And then also like my rating scale. So, what I look for in books are books that are thrilling, have social commentary, humor. Did I say thrilling? Thrilling, social commentary, humor, introspection. There's something else, and grief. That's most of them that I can think of off the top of my head. This video is going to be unedited because, God, I just don't have the time. I'm trying to post 2 videos on this day, which is Thursday. So bear with a girl. Okay. So, 5 books this month. They are Yesteryear, fan favorite, arguably the book of the year. Secret Lives of Church Ladies, Baby Teeth. Oh, she didn't see it coming. And then A Terrible Strength. So let's go into my rating scale is kind of based off of like how I would relate to like rating food. So a 1 is like a regrettable experience. You get food poisoning, disgusting, throw it up. 2 is just like bland, like you're looking for something else and it's just not there. 3 is like a good like fast food place like a McDonald's, Sonic. I don't know why they came to mind. I haven't been to Sonic in like a year or something. And then a 4 is like a nice day out, like dining out. And then a 5 is like your own customized meal made to you, served in bed, your most comfortable, cozy spot. So that's how I think about books. Let's start off with, okay, I was going to start off with the most coveted, which is Miss Yesteryear, but I'm going to move that down because I am going more in depth anyway and posting a video on it. So I don't want to like, because I know that a lot of people are here because they saw Yesteryear in the thumbnail. But let's start off with Secret Lives of Church Ladies. So if you don't know anything about Secret Lives of Church Ladies, this is like a multi-perspective fiction. I was going to say fiction novel, but this follows multiple different stories. At first, I was a little bit confused because I think someone said that it was like 4 people, but there are a lot of people in this thing. I feel like it's more than 4. Recounting their experiences in relation to their connection to church, their experiences outside of church, as women that have had a relationship to religion. I loved this book. I listened to it over audio. It's only 4 hours, so I listened to it in a road trip that I was taking down to my friend's baby shower or gender reveal, whatever. It was so good. You have to have a certain type of book to sit through one sitting, and I read it in one sitting, and it was well worth it. If you're looking for a book to read in one sitting, and you do have some religious trauma you would like to exercise, this is the one for you. This is mainly, I would say, all of the church ladies are, I think this is specifically focused on like the black church experience and confessions. And for me, as somebody who's deconstructing, a pastor's kid, jump scare, I appreciated it and really liked it. I think that although this was of course just one author, I think the different voices and the different stories, you can see a succinct voice, but it wasn't the same exact thing being repeated, and it felt like there were different people speaking to this. Like for a while, it almost felt like nonfiction. I gave it a 4 out of 5. So yeah, this is like a cozy, like dining out, like nice experience. Okay, next we got Baby Teeth. Ugh, I don't want to talk about this book, but I'm going to. So Baby Teeth was this book that I got whenever I went to the Little Free Libraries. Big mistake there. Genuinely, I do try to look for 5 stars when I'm at the Little Free Libraries. This was such a miss. I don't know how it happened. But it really just solidified that I don't like horror. I'm going to keep it kind of short because I know a decent amount of people watch that video and my thoughts. But this essentially explores that popular trope of like, It's a horror. Is the child possessed, or is the mother or parent just an unreliable narrator and they're making the child seem more evil than they are? The child was evil. The child was evil and possessed, and there was no question about that. Basically, this has two different perspectives. Suzette, who was the mother, and then I think it's Hannah, who's the child. Please, if I get that wrong, forgive me. Hannah, you're following her perspective of like really hating her mom, wanting her mom to be separated from her dad, wanting her to save her dad. And in the beginning it's kind of like, ew, isn't it? And then at the middle it gets very clear that this is a messed up child. And then Suzette, the mother, is just dealing with the qualms of having a possessed child that should be, I was going to say in an institution, but can we say that? I don't think we can say that anymore. So, they kind of go through their horrible, difficult relationship where you can tell Suzette has a lot of guilt and pain related to her motherhood journey of raising a child who literally came from hell. I just don't think I enjoy horror. I'm gonna try a Stephen King book and make a video out of it. Horror I don't think is for me because it really just disturbed the fuck out of me. Seriously. It left me with a nightmare that I was like, it could have all been avoided if I had just been strong in my DNF. Let me just be strong in my DNF next time. Okay. Now we'll talk about Yesteryear. Yesteryear, wow. I do have a video coming pretty much, I think, at the exact same time as this, if not the exact same time, maybe an hour before. We'll see. But I'm gonna give a shorter summary of my thoughts here, and then you can, if you want to like key and like dig into more of my thoughts, go watch that video. So, Yesteryear, I feel like everybody knows what the heck this is about, but just to summarize it up. And then also my video is going to be like very much spoiled. So just know that if you haven't read the book, you probably don't want to watch that video because I'm going to talk about all of it. So I'll try to be a little bit more generous here. So Yesteryear, the basic elevator pitch is a trad wife influencer. I wanted to call her Hannah for a bit, and I realized that's Ballerina Farm's name, and that's also very much a typical trad wife influencer, simple woman, simple woman name that if I accidentally call her Hannah, just know it was not on purpose. Trad wife influencer Natalie is living her normal trad wife influencer life in the conservative space, in the manosphere space, when she wakes up one day in 1855. And we're like, what the heck? How did she get there? You knew that. You probably knew that. This book is marketed as and known to be a satire, a satirical social commentary on essentially influencer culture, the conservative sphere. Like I said, there are themes of the manosphere. The manosphere is like explicitly named in here. I think it's incredibly topical. It is very interesting that this book has risen to such popularity because I think like even topics like this are a little bit touchy because like look at who the heck is in charge right now. Very interesting to name these specific things, but I think I like that this is at the top of relevance and culture and story right now, just based off of the topics that are being explored: conservatism, overall like influencer culture, commenting on even like one of the things that are brought up is like an angry woman. So basically, let me not get ahead of myself. Natalie, we start off with seeing her in her influencer kind of like sphere. She starts off showing us kind of like her normal life, going to the grocery store, thinking hateful thoughts about other people, and then also naming that a lot of what drives her career is angry women is what she says. And as she's kind of like spewing all of this, she is also saying, like, oh, forgive me, Lord, forgive me for thinking horrible things. Like at one point she literally says, she was thinking a hateful thought about one of her like past, it was like a roommate or somebody she saw at the store. And she was like, oh God, fuck her. I can't say it because I'm not going to edit this, but fuck her. And then she'd be like, oh God, forgive me for I have sinned. But then she'd be like, no, but really, fuck her. There, throughout this book, I feel like the tone of Natalie is, in my opinion, from my view of growing up in conservative spaces, past missionary kid, past pastor's kid, I know people like this that are Natalie's. I feel like this type of woman is real. Like, so I appreciated it for that perspective. As it relates to many other things that I go far into whenever I talk in depth about the book, like I said, I liked the topicality of this. I will say the one thing that I'll mention here that I go more in depth in later. Oh my God, how many times can I say that? Is that I wasn't as invested in the 1855 perspective, because I was like, I kind of want to see just what we're talking about in modern day, because it is most applicable to what I'm interested in and what we're seeing online anyway. The 1855 was kind of just like, what lesson is she here to learn? What specifically are we supposed to take away? I don't know. But I feel like her modern self, her rise to fame, was interesting because it's what's going on right now and what we see in other people, what we see in Ballerina Farms, what we see in Nara Smith just came out saying that she doesn't want to be like labeled as a trad wife, and that the trad wife sphere is much more expansive and multifaceted than just like a specific type of a person. But I was gonna say the Nara Smith of it all, I eat clean, I make my own ingredients, I go to church, and I make it look easy. I think that that's incredibly interesting to see, so it being written about. But yeah, the criticism for me is kind of like, I really didn't learn that much in the past, the 1855. But I was enthralled with it. The end kind of disappointed me. Just gonna be honest. People are talking about how the end was like great. I think the pressure makes sense, how the pressure related to the end. More on that in the thing that I'm talking about later. I give this book a 4 out of 5. More on that in the thing I just keep bringing up. Oh my God, I can't stop bringing it up. Okay, next book is called She Didn't See It Coming by Sherry LaPena. Did I even say any of the other authors' names? It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. And I was gonna say something, but I was gonna say something that I was thinking I was gonna do, and I'm not gonna do it. So, She Didn't See It Coming by Sherry LaPena is a thriller. It's one of those thrillers where a mother doesn't pick her child up from daycare, and you're like, oh, what the heck happened to the mother? Because she's typically the type of mother that picks things up, lets her family know where she's at. And then we find out that the mother didn't even leave the apartment that day. So she had to have either been lost or died in her apartment building. So everybody's a suspect. Her husband, obviously. Her sister, her best friend, this man that she supposedly might be having an affair with. But husband is number 1 on the suspect list. And you're kind of just trying to put the pieces together. This is a typical popcorn thriller. I enjoyed it. She didn't see it coming, but I almost did. But I didn't. I didn't see it coming. It was probably, you probably could see it coming, maybe. But to me, when it comes to predictability of thrillers, girl, I'm Stevie Wonder to these books, for real. There are people that are like, oh, I knew this from the beginning. I'm not one of those people, dude. I cannot put things together. But it was like, it wasn't written like incredibly predictably, but it's written like, this isn't like reinventing the wheel. It is like a typical like warm popcorn thriller that is like a palate cleanser to me, like an easy story. Not incredibly easy. There are some things that are a little bit disturbing, a little bit hard to chew on, but like the type of story where you're not looking for it to reinvent the wheel. Last book. So this book is called A Terrible Strength by, I think her name is Kemi Dahl. Wow. This one was a harder read. So A Terrible Strength is focused on the crisis of black, I was going to say maternal health, but it's just black specific health related to the crisis of having a black womb. and about how Black women are like, I should have written down the statistics, but double the amount of like risk for death, double the amount of risk for like endometriosis, for like endometrial cancer, um anything that is related to when you are a Black woman being checked out by your OBGYN. For some reason, Black women's rates for harm and potential death for anything related to womb care is much higher. And so this OBGYN wrote the specifics as to the causes, as to the system's history with that knowledge, and then how you can advocate for yourself in order to be more empowered. Oh my God, really soaked this one up, but it was very difficult for me. It almost made me, because one of the things that she mentions is like, if you do not have an OBGYN that you feel safe with, that you feel comfortable with, that you cannot advocate for yourself with, get a new OBGYN so that they can take you seriously, because there are a lot of women that will mention concerns, and then it's not until they get like a hysterectomy or some sort of major procedure that you realize that you've been dealing with this pain that has been life-threatening for years. A lot of women will, in the first year, talk about something, and then after a couple of years, have it taken out. But it could have been solved at the first year. So have people that take you seriously. But it's difficult to have the bitches that take you seriously. Every time I go to the doctor, because I have this like consistent pain, I'm not going to keep talking about this, but I find it incredibly hard to be believed. I find it hard to like convince people of the things that are like happening. I know that women in general feel this. She also does mention that like it's not just Black women, like women, white women specifically have like a hard time being believed, but like Black women are like specifically just like it's denied. Like the like pain is just like, well, take a Tylenol maybe. Anyway, I really highly recommend this book. I didn't rate it because I'm not rating nonfiction anymore, but if you are interested in just finding a book that is everything that I mentioned, please check this one out. It was so good but terrifying but necessary. Found it incredibly helpful too. I read it through audio, so on Spotify, and so I screen recorded a lot of things that I'm going to write out later so that I can keep them in mind for like tips and tricks for what to take to the OBGYN office. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know how you feel about the new mic. Oh my God. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, let me know what you're reading. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.